I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome Mother Lakshmi in a form of Mother Saraswati for the next 3 days at the Sriman Narayan Dham. I welcome all of you physically present here at the Sriman Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. And I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse on YouTube and also the various groups from around the world when it is subsequently posted therein. I'm going to read the mantra for Mother Saraswati as per the Devi Mahatmyam. Meditation on Mother Saraswati. I meditate on the incomparable Mother Saraswati, who holds in her 8 lotus-like hands bell, trident, plough, conch, mace, discus, bow, and arrow, who is effulgent like the moon shining at the fringe of a cloud, who is the destroyer of Sumba and other asuras, who issued forth from Parvati's body and is the substratum of the 3 worlds. So Mother Saraswati is commonly known as the dispeller of
ignorance.
Knowledge. The dispeller of knowledge. When you want to leave from Durban to India, how much of knowledge do you need?
You need to book a flight.
You have to have knowledge on how to book a flight. Then the pilot has to have knowledge on how to
Fly the plane.
fly the plane. And the makers of the plane have to have knowledge on how to build the plane. The radio controllers have to have knowledge on how to release the plane and bring the plane in. And various engineers have to have technological knowledge to understand the workings of an aeroplane. So how much of knowledge is required?
Lot.
Lot. To go from here to India. Does anyone know how many kilometers it is from here to India? You think you can find out?
8,000 odd kilometers.
How many, Rishi?
8,000 odd kilometers.
8,000 odd kilometers. So you need, various people need to have various types of knowledge to make this one journey possible from Durban to India. From Durban to India, just to take a flight, there's a whole process of knowledge. There's a whole lot of knowledge. You see? You say over 8,000 kilometers. Sita, you believe Rishi?
I'm not checking.
Rishi? She does not really believe you. Anyone else believe Rishi? "8,000 kilometers. How much of knowledge? Total sum of knowledge? Quite a lot. Rishi, what is the distance to yourself? How far is your mind from your heart? Tijashni, how far is your mind from your heart? Where is your mind? On your brain. And where's your heart? And where it is on your body?
On the left hand side.
Of your? Okay, so somebody, it's not so hard. How far is your mind to your heart, you think? 8,000 kilometers? Rishi, how far you think?
About 40 centimeters.
About 40, 45 centimeters? Rishi, you have a heart? So you're finding it difficult to get the measurement. Rishi, Bhabhi anytime called you heartless? It's satsang this, Rishi, you have to speak the truth.
No, she didn't.
She didn't? Okay.
I did.
You called her heartless. So 40, 45 centimeters from the mind to the heart is the distance. Okay? So how much of knowledge would you require to start the journey from your mind to your soul? Because the soul is seated in the heart. Shall I? He's given that smug, sly smile when he used to go home late, 2 hours late, after his wife asked him where he was. That's a smile he's giving. The Shalen original. How much of knowledge, Shalen? For 45 centimeters. One step. One human step. One human step. How much of knowledge you require?
Not a lot.
Let's see. So we have Mother Saraswati who represents knowledge, and I am interested in which knowledge?
Spiritual knowledge.
Spiritual knowledge, and it is on this day that you should commit yourself to start the journey, which is only 45 centimeters, which cost nothing, It's absolutely free, this knowledge. It starts from your mind and it goes through 5 sheets. And it reaches your soul. Which is around 45 centimeters. I'm taking my time because I want these 2 distances to sink in. 8,000 kilometers, various people had to collectively put their knowledge together so that you could fly from Durban to India. Okay? So similarly, for this little journey from your mind to your soul, the Vedas were created. The Vedas were created. And the very first Veda is the
Rig Veda.
The Rig Veda. And the Rig Veda has 10,521 verses. How many verses? Rishi? 10,521 verses. The next Veda is the Yajur Veda, and it has 1,975 verses. 1,975 verses. The next Veda is the Sama Veda. It has 1,875 verses, and the last Veda, the 4th Veda, is the Atharva Veda, and it has 5,977 verses. And that includes all of the Upanishads that's embedded in the Vedas. Initially, there was over 200, but according to the Mukti Upanishad, there are 108 authorized Upanishads, of which about 40 is commonly used today. Rosita, you want to calculate on your calculator? Since you are the accountant. $10,521. Anyone else got a calculator? Just in case the accountant makes a mistake. They are used to cooking the books for the clients. Coincidentally, she cooked supper for us today. 10,521 plus 1,975 plus 1,875 plus 5,977.
That's all. 2348.
So 23,000.
2348. 20,348.
20,348. The Vedas has 20,348 verses. Then we have 18 Puranas. We have 18 Puranas, and the Puranas are confirmed as knowledge in the Vedas itself and in the Upanishads itself as authority. In the Sri Sampradaya, we use just 6 of the Puranas that are in Sattvagun, but in terms of Vedic knowledge, the Puranas contain 400,000 verses. The main Puranas and the sub-Puranas. Somebody writing down 400,000 verses. Then we have the Ramayan, original Ramayan, as per information in the Ramcharitmanas by Lord Shiva. When Brahma spoke the Ramayan to Lord Shiva, the original verses were 100,000. However, Valmiki's Ramayan is 24,000 verses. And then we get the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata has 100,000 verses. Did I miss out anything? So, our accountant, she's going to start adding.
Which add is
524,000 verses. 524,000 verses in the Vedas, which includes the Upanishads, the Puranas, and the Mahabharata. Then we got 200 verses in the Pancharatra Agamas. So Tibeshni, how many verses we got? How much of knowledge we have? Not a lot. I want the figures. You're sitting next to how much?
624. With the 200.
200 verses, not 200,000. 200. Okay. So we'll go back to 548, yeah.
Plus 200 is 548, 200.
Okay, so just over 500,000 verses of knowledge exist in the Vedas. And what is the reason for this knowledge, Rishi? To travel 45 centimeters from your mind to your soul. Over 500,000 verses of knowledge. Each of this verse, if we do a proper analysis of it, can go into hundreds of millions of verses. These verses that's there, if we have to go into its depth, then we are talking about millions of verses. For what, Rishi Bhai? To travel from the mind to the soul. And it is for this reason that Lord Sriman Narayan breathes the Vedas. The Vedas is the essence of Lord Sriman Narayan, because knowledge is the essence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Knowledge is also the essence of the soul. Knowledge is also the essence of the soul. However, look at how much of knowledge is required for man to travel from his mind through his senses and reach his true self. To reach his true self. Sanatana Dharma is the only system that is comprehensive in every aspect of man's being. So the knowledge is divided into two parts. The prescriptive injunctions and the descriptive injunctions. What does prescriptive injunctions mean?
The prescription is things you must do.
Yes. And when you do things, what is another name for it? It's also called rituals. Prescriptive knowledge is also called
Rituals.
This prescriptive knowledge is found in the Brahmanas and the Samhitas. And the descriptive knowledge is found in the Aryanas and the Upanishads. The prescriptive knowledge is necessary to induce mankind into formal worship. The prescriptive knowledge is necessary to induce mankind into formal worship, and the descriptive knowledge is essential to inspire man to understand his true nature. Prescription or rituals bind you. Prescriptive knowledge binds you, and descriptive knowledge releases you. Prescriptive knowledge or rituals bind you, descriptive knowledge liberates you. And this is why we ask you to transcend ritualism and embrace spiritualism. That transcendence from ritualism to spiritualism is 34 or 44 centimeters from the mind to the soul. And for this journey from the mind to the soul, God has given you over 500,000 injunctions. You don't need so much or so many or that quantity of knowledge to go from here to India and come back, do you? Riche? Do you need 500 plus injunctions to go from here to India and back? But to travel 45 centimeters one way, how many ways? one way. To travel 45 centimeters, it doesn't matter how big head you have, like Shalin's head, the distance between the head, the mind and the soul will always be almost equal. Alright? But the danger of having a huge head is sometimes he travels in his head only. And he gets lost in that head. He gets lost in his head. But the ashram appreciates him because he is lost on the artistic side. And this is a production. All what you see around is lost in the artistic side of his head. Okay? So, I want you to understand the difficulty that mankind has to transcend man's ignorance. It is easier to build an aeroplane than to travel from your mind to your soul. Have you seen it? Can you see it? It is easier to build an aeroplane and travel around the world than assimilate a few verses and travel within yourself from the mind to the soul and liberate yourself eternally. All of you are understanding. And look at the amount of work Lord Narayan has done so that you can have no excuse to travel from the mind to the soul. And it is on these 3 days of Navaratri that you should pack your luggage. You should pack your luggage in your mental sheet, in your mental body, and start the onward journey towards the causal body in which resides the soul. You see? Don't carry anything for the road. Just go. And you'll meet the greatest spirit of all. Yourself. Yourself. So don't pack anything for the road. Just start the journey. And today, you that's present in this satsang and those that's listening live and those that's going to be listening whenever. This journey needs to start, and this journey starts through the grace of Mother Saraswati. And it is in these 3 days that you can prepare the field of your mind to harvest Vedanta, because only Vedanta will take you to yourself. Only Vedanta will take you to yourself. And this is a difficulty that preaching has. This is the difficulty that preaching has. It is absolutely difficult to tell you that the greatest traveling you have to do for your absolute happiness, Mr. Vishwadhar, is just travel inwards. Just travel inwards. And as you travel to yourself, the greatest bliss will follow until you merge into your own bliss. There is nothing outside that is blissful. There is nothing outside you that can give you happiness. There is absolutely nothing external that can make you happy. The only happiness, the reservoir of all happiness and bliss, is you, yourself, residing within yourself. And Mother Saraswati will assist you. She'll grace you with this reservoir of knowledge so that the inward journey may begin. Are there any questions? Any questions? Any questions, Jalen? You're starting your inward journey. That's why the Guru never give you a Lamborghini. But how will you travel in your head, notwithstanding the fact that it's the biggest head around? How can a Lamborghini fit in it and take you to your soul? Karen. You need a Lamborghini of knowledge and a Ferrari of knowledge and a Porsche of knowledge. So you take these vehicles in your mind and you travel to your soul. If you want to travel fast. Alright? Some of you, even if I give you a donkey and a cart, there'll be no movement. So this satsang has always been a spiritual upliftment center. The aim and objective of this organization is to give you spiritual knowledge so that you may unlock your true nature. You may unlock your true nature. You may find the happiest of moments within yourself. All of you understand? You cannot, everything else we give you is to maintain you to reach that ultimate goal. Everything else we give you is to maintain you to reach which goal? I am a Vaishnavite Guru. I am not Mother Durga. I am not Mother Durga. I am a Vaishnavite Guru. My job is to link you to Lord Narayan. But before I link you to Lord Narayan, I need to link you to yourself. Once you are linked to yourself, then the connection to Lord Narayan becomes possible. Becomes possible. That is my only job. That is my only job. All of you understand? So, this 500 and some odd thousand verses have been condensed by Lord Sriman Narayan, have been condensed by Lord Sriman Narayan to a mere 700 verses. Lord Narayan took all aspects of the Vedas and he compressed it in 700 verses in a book called Bhagavad Gita. You see, the implications of understanding the Bhagavad Gita is equivalent to over 500,000 verses of the Vedas, and it's also equivalent to infinite knowledge. And as it is customary, when I conclude my discourse, I read a corroborating verse from the Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay? So you can doubt the Vedas, you can doubt the Puranas, you can doubt the Mahabharata, and you can doubt the Ramayan. But you cannot doubt the spoken word of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, and it is for this reason that He incarnates at the end of every Dwapara Yuga, so that He can condense all Vedic knowledge. He can condense all Vedic knowledge and give you the Bhagavad Gita. So there is no room for doubt. And I am consolidating now all that I have stated with one or two verses from the Bhagavad Gita itself, spoken by Lord Sriman Narayan in his form as Lord Sri Krishna. And the Lord said, "This body, O Arjuna, is called the field, or Kshetra. He who knows it is called the field knower, or Kshetra Jana, by those who know the self. Who knows themselves? Those that are self-realized. Those that are self-realized, that have already traveled, Rishi, from where to where? From the mind to the soul. How many centimeters? 45 centimeters. Verse 2, that was chapter 13, verse 1. And now we are on chapter 13, verse 2. And know me also as the field knower in all fields, O Arjuna. The knowledge of the field and its knower is, in my view, true knowledge." So what does Lord Sri Krishna says? That the person who knows his body as the object, as my body, as an object, he is the knower of the field or the body, and that person who knows the body, Lord Sri Krishna states, knows the difference between the soul and the body, has true knowledge. So can you see how much of knowledge you need for this journey of 45 centimeters? And once you have reached this point of experiencing and living as the soul and knowing the body to be a mere instrument for experience, then and then only you have true knowledge. And this is endorsed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So all the time when the Guru is teaching you self-realization, It is not something that the Guru concocted. He is within the parameters of Vedanta itself. Because Vedanta states that to know God, you need to know yourself first, and knowing yourself is the absolute knowledge. And this is Vedanta, and Vedanta is true and absolute Vishishtadvaita, or Vishishtadvaita is absolute and true Vedanta. All of you understand? Are there any questions? Rasni, you think you'll pass the Guru's exam? Or you think the paper must also go for remarking? Jai Sriman.